The grand spectacle of CNN's Oops, We Did It Again defamation extravaganza. In a courtroom that felt more like a circus tent than a hall of justice, the trial of the century, or at least the trial of CNN's century, kicked off with all the pomp and circumstance of a reality TV showdown. Zachary Young, the Navy vet turned security consultant, had taken CNN to court, claiming the network had turned him into the villain of a blockbuster movie without even paying him for the role. The trial began with CNN's legal team, looking like they had just stepped off the set of Law and Order, Media Edition, arguing that their reporting was as accurate as their weather forecast, give or take a hurricane or two. They claimed, with straight faces, that mentioning Young's name in the same breath as black market was just an unfortunate coincidence, like accidentally broadcasting the wrong election results. Young's attorney, however, was having none of it. He painted a picture of CNN's journalism as a game of Guess Who, where the network had pointed at Young and guessed criminal profiteer without even looking at the card. He presented evidence in the form of internal emails where CNN reporters had called Young everything from shady to Swiss cheese, presumably because of the holes in their story. The judge, who seemed to have accidentally wandered in from a Judge Judy episode, had to repeatedly remind everyone this was a court of law, not a roast. But the courtroom audience, made up of disillusioned news consumers and a few stray journalists looking for a story, laughed anyway, especially when CNN's defense was essentially, "You would only have heard our mistake if you watched our show for the first 4 minutes." Witnesses for CNN included a parade of journalists who, under oath, tried to explain the journalistic equivalent of "we meant to do that." One reporter, when asked about the term black market, argued it was just a colorful metaphor for an overpriced exit strategy, much like the network's own subscription model. The trial reached its comedic peak when a CNN editor took the stand, insisting that the term black market was as accurate as their political polls, and that any apology issued was merely a correction, just like correcting a typo on a tweet from 2012. Young, meanwhile, sat stoically, perhaps contemplating whether his next career move should be in comedy, given the entertainment value of the trial. His legal team argued that this case was less about defamation and more about CNN needing a new spellchecker for their journalistic integrity. As the trial progressed, speculation among the peanut gallery was that CNN might end up with a hefty fine, not just for defamation but for wasting the court's time with a defense that could have been a plot for a bad sitcom. The network, in response, promised to do better, hinting at a new segment titled Oops, We Misreported That, scheduled to air right after this just in, We're Sorry, Again. In the end, whether CNN would be ordered to pay damages was anyone's guess, but one thing was clear: if this trial were a movie, it would win every award for Best Comedy at the next Journalism Oscars.